selection. So will not be first come, first serve. And qualifications besides the income will be eligibility will be to get a letter of support through Homes Fund. That will require a candidate to attend one of their classes. They'll have 3 classes that they can attend between now and when the city will close the application process, which is September 24th, in a few weeks. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and this is the project on 32nd Street. The city also met with Stefka when she was in town, and Elevation, as you guys know, are involved in the land trust project in Twin Buttes. City's working with her on infrastructure, and what's interesting about that, and Mark, I think you know this, but it will also be a modular project, and the manufacturer will actually be the developer. So it's a really unique project, really excited about that. And with the fact that it's a land trust and modular, and the modular company being the developer, it's unique, not only unique to our area, but unique in terms of a model. Last but not least, the city's likely going to request from DOLA to roll over the private activity bond for this year. The city has 1.2 million, and there is a project that's been identified for 2025, but it's not quite ready yet, and so we'll ask to roll those over for a year. That's yet to go to council, but it'll likely happen in the next council meeting. We have until September 15th, so it's probably true for the county as well. Have until September 15th to respond to DOLA with that request and resolution and paperwork.
This is Kevin. Could you make sure, let's circle on that issue so that we're coordinated at the county and the city?
Love to.
PABs. Thank you.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to. And Marsha, I remember us talking about this several months ago around use of private activity bond. I'm starting to learn a little bit. I'm learning a lot these days, but the private activity bond is not limited to LIHTC, although it's mostly used for LIHTC because when it's layered on top of LIHTC, the bond percentage is lower than if it's not. And so, but there are other uses that qualify. And Kevin, I would love to sit down and talk with you and coordinate how we collectively leverage those monies, because I don't think that, even though they've been used for the Best Western project and for other uses, I think that there's an opportunity for us to collectively think about it strategically. And between the two entities, there's a decent amount of money, especially if we roll over those bonds for a couple of years. Before you know it, we've got probably $4 million of a private activity bond that we can use in our tool chest and even leverage the RHA in that.
I will tell you that I think it was that last 2 years over at the city that suggesting to roll over at the, I think it's Champa, they really want you to either put it back into the pool or use it. They don't want you to see that hold on to it, because it's, so there's pressure there to put those into use every year, but that doesn't mean you keep hold on to them.
Yeah, exactly. And Chafa's heavily involved in those. So there's an opportunity to actually direct those back to Chafa instead of the state, and maybe coordinate with Chafa of how Chafa might be a partner in those, longer term. But anyway, as I learn more, I'll share, and Kevin, I'll get with you offline. Katie, I personally, and this is not representing the city, but I personally concur with with Marsha, and I was really disappointed to hear about the meeting yesterday, and hang in there.
Thanks, Michael.
Bill, do you have anything else to add?
Yes, well, on the larger level, the city's still working towards the 205 reauthorization. So we're moving forward with that, and then you'll probably hear that we've had some holdups with the project with the heads, and there's no name for the project yet, but it's the Head Start needing a lease to go into Track C, which is the parking lot next to the library right there. And so basically what it's gonna do is just go like this. And apparently there's some misunderstanding with what the city is actually doing, so we're trying to work through the issues, and it was postponed or tabled until next city council. So it will come back up, but this actually is a very good project because it hits all our strategic points, and it does provide for childcare, which we've been hearing about a lot, and also some workforce housing. So don't be discouraged when you read the paper, because I was interviewed, and I know other people are going to be interviewed, and there's been a whole lot of public outcry about the quality of the neighborhoods. But other than that, everything's going peachy.
Thank you, Gilda. Oh, Marsha, Kevin, La Plata County.
That made me laugh, so I'm getting my composure. Let's see, so lodger's tax reallocation, to let everybody know where that's at, is tomorrow we have a work session. No public comment is gonna be taken, but you're welcome. I don't know if that's gonna be on Zoom. I should know that. I don't, usually our work sessions.
Would be.
Okay, it typically will be on Zoom, so if you just wanna log in and be listening. So what we did in July, just for the public listening, is we gave the intention to the county clerk that we wanted to go to ballot, but that wasn't the final. So tomorrow, we're basically hearing about different ways and a recommendation about what the ballot would be worded as. Because we by state statute have some limitations, but it's sort of like what comes first, and do we put in there that it's not the city, we're not at all affiliating, or this is not voting on the city lodger's tax. Then we may have another work session depending on how that goes. That would be the following week, so check calendars if you're interested. And then we need to have this decided by September 6th. In order for our clerk to know what's going to be on the ballot, and then make sure it's all, copacetic with the election calendar. So that could look like, it pretty much will look like we will be making a final decision on the 27th. And so anybody that wants to speak up, on my Facebook page and the county's Facebook page, there's a Survey Monkey. So please fill that out, and get it to your friends to fill out. And I've said all along, we're getting a lot of comments from different businesses in the business sector and the tourism sector, and people that care about housing and childcare. We're not trying to gut the tourism marketing dollars. That's not our goal. And we want to be reasonable and we want to be balanced, but we also know that workforce housing and childcare are giant issues. So anyway, anybody have questions on that? Also, I got on the way out here, actually, permission from John Whitney to relay to everybody that the West Side and Triangle mobile home parks have gotten 1.5 million in congressional spending. And there is some caveats that I need to make sure are out there. One is it has to make it through Congress and have presidential signature, but that's procedural, but we can't say it is until it is. And then just make sure everything would go through. What it would be is infrastructure dollars for annexation, and then this whole concept of helping continue to put the ones that, in a phased manner, do permanent foundations, and more different kind of structures there, especially for the older ones. The idea has always been to phase into getting the older trailers as they age out and put in a different kind of home. So pretty cool, and we'll just wait and see to make sure that the final vote gets put on that. So Psyched about that.
Let me, maybe I can pick up from there. You guys know this housing stuff, it's a giant iceberg, right? The houses are just pieces that's sticking out of the water, so I feel like I'm working under the water with so many different things.
Don't drown.
Well, so, you know, working with the RHA in terms of sorting out the IGA and dues and memberships, take some time to do that. Working with Pam and her group on a new professional services agreement, as well as the transfer of $200,000 that we budgeted in '24 for mortgage assistance. It's surprising, you'd think that'd be a simple matter, and it's been going on for months, and Pam, thankfully for her, has only been involved lately. Lisa and I spent a lot of time on this, our attorney's office is heavy into it. We did have elevation in the house this week as well, and stuff, and, you know, we have this $1 million grant through DOLA that the county is administering, and it's a massive lift for the finance department, so learned a little bit where elevation's at. Marsha just spoke to the new funding coming their way, and that's not coming through the county. Homes Fund just recently closed on the transfer of property that they bought intermittently or for an intermittent period to transfer to elevation. That occurred this month, last month in July.
20th of July.
Yeah, but there was a loan in there from the county that we had to work through. The loan got paid back. There's this loan agreement that has got all sorts of obligations in it and things that we're trying to get that all sorted through. What am I missing here? There's probably a bunch of other stuff too, but it just feels like there's a lot of administrative things that seem really like not moving the needle, but I think ultimately it does help move these things forward. Obviously, we're in a bit of a holding pattern, both with Ignacio and Bayfield on their projects, which we have some ARPA money set aside for, and seeing what it takes to move those forward. But yeah, a lot happening at the county, and it's not just me by any means. In fact, I'm a small part of it. You have finance and the attorney's office, and Chuck's involved at times, and others, and it's surprising. What you guys all know is, I mean, the choir, there's a lot of minutia that goes into these things, and a lot of it's behind the curtain, so.
Thank you.
Good point.
Yeah, we make it really hard for ourselves to be successful. And kudos to you guys in the trenches that dig through it all the time, so. Our next item is executive session, but before we go there, I'd like to personally express my gratitude to both Katie and Nicole for the work that they've provided, not only to the RHA, but just each individual jurisdiction. Me personally, I've really enjoyed working with you guys. Katie, not as long as I have with Nicole, but it's been a privilege for me. So thank you for all the work that you've done.
Thanks, Pat.
Ditto.
So next item on the agenda is executive session. So I would ask those non-board members and Sarah Schwartz and whoever is not part of the board that's online to depart, and we'll do this.
Do we need a motion, Chair?
Oh, yeah, we do.
Adjourn this and then.
Yeah.
Well, there's no more business to be covered after this. There's an official way to do that.
Okay, yeah, okay. Well, meeting's adjourned.
So I would make a motion that we move into executive session to discuss personnel matters under state statute. And I'm sure there's a code for that. And there'll be no more further business following that. So we will adjourn the public meeting at this time. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I don't know, Dougie always gives me something to read.